Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us here on Business Daily, where we discuss business happenings in the country and at times globally as well. Now, as I said before we went on that short break, we're going to look at one of the big stories of yesterday, which was that our GDP grew by 3.84% in quarter four of 2024. Now, in terms of the last time was 3.46% in 2023, and this is according to the latest report from the National Bureau of Statistics, (NBS). Now, this represents the highest GDP growth in 3 years. So, some sort of progression, and we'll find out if that's really the case. Now, joining me to further discuss this issue and look at some of the key highlights of that report is economist and development expert Aliyu Ilias. Good morning, Mr. Aliyu Ilias, for joining us on Business Daily this morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you for joining. So you're aware of the story. I'm just going to point out some key highlights of that report. And it says that the services sector contributed 47.38% to the nation's overall GDP, reinforcing the role as official driver of economic expansion. However, agriculture experienced a slight slowdown, growing at 1.76%, down from 2.10% in quarter four of 2023. Similarly, the industry sector recorded 2.00% growth rate, declining from 3.86% in the previous year. Now, there's some highlights in all of this. You see the oil sector GDP grew 1.48% in quarter four 2024, significantly down from the 12.11% in the quarter four 2023. Now, there's so much numbers here, and I'm sure you've seen the report for yourself. So let's just delve right into the conversation. Services sector every time. This is our major drive force for our economy. Now, what does this tell for us, really, that services sector is our major drive for our economy?
Right. It depends on the economy. If in South Africa, I think they are good to have service sector leading. But for Nigeria, it's not a good news for us that service sector is leading the economy because we have arable land to cultivate, agriculture should be the lead, and industry should also take the lead, and mining sector should also take the lead. So it's not a good news that we have service sector. However, it's a good news that we have an increase in GDP, but the enabler that this is the challenge that the economies are looking at, that we should have other sector leading, not service sector.
Okay, so now we saw that the oil situation now that was down. We had like 1 point something percent in what do you call it, 2024, 1.48%, down from 12.11%. That's quite a very steep this thing. So how does this mean for us? Because we're an oil-dependent country. What does this mean for us? Are we not supposed to be progressing? This seems like some sort of regression.
Right. Well, we are supposed to be progressing. However, we want to see whereby other sector will also have their bit. What you will call our Minister of the Economy, the oil sector. So if we have other sector also coming up, it's a good one, but not at the expense of the oil sector going down. And to bring about more clarification, we simply need financial, insurance, telecom, that this area is one taking the lead. But we have other sectors that can also take the lead. So if we have oil sector maybe doing the normal thing, not going there is fine, but we should have other sectors taking the lead as well. Because we always talk about diversification of the economy. It's very, very key. If we don't diversify at the point, oil will be a cost to us if we don't really diversify on time.
All right, thank you for taking us to that place of diversification. Now, with Nigeria's non-oil sector contributing 94.40% of the GDP, are we truly a diversifying economy? Are we really actually diversifying, or is oil still dominant?
Right. I think oil is still dominant because the oil is the one that can give us balance of trade and balance of payment. So oil is still dominating. Even the oil, I can tell you that we are still doing better in oil because you still have to coming on stream, and then the people are really doing well. It's helping us to export more exports and reduce more imports of oil produce. So I think that's a positive one. But that oil sector is not going down at all. We have not done well in you can see they are not even mentioning mining. We're not measuring at all. And also the manufacturing sector, most people there are still not as many, perhaps because of the NPR. They always talk about other agricultural sector. We have a lot of things affecting us in that area. The major one is supply chain, followed by insecurity and other sundry issues. So I think we should do more to help other sectors to also grow. But diversify, I think we are far from diversification.
All right, so last week there was this big issue. That was the issue of the rebasing of the consumer price index and the GDP. Now, has that in any way, with that whole thing happening to us last week, what does this understanding of economic performance and inflation rate, how does this affect it from your point of view as a development expert and an economist?
Right. I think for our economy, we are in quarter one now, and we are seeing that the results will be coming out hoping for good. However, for our economy, we are still not doing well. We are not what we are supposed to be. So for the last 3 years, we have seen upward trajectory in the GDP. However, by the time we replace it, we have much more than by taking the lead in Africa or coming second in terms of the best economy. However, we need to do more to really move our economy beyond perhaps the benefit of Nigeria.
All right, now, so let's still stay with the inflation situation. Now, with the inflationary pressures and currency volatility, how do you see monetary and fiscal policies shaping economic stability in the year 2025?
Right. Well, for me, I'm not. I cannot say we are actually doing well in monetary and fiscal, but I can tell you that for monetary, we have been doing all what we can to see different frameworks. But some people accuse them of defending the naira, which is naira stabilized, but I think that they are responsible to defend the naira. But we must be working beyond this because we cannot be at 1,500 naira per dollar. To a dollar, we are saying that we are good or we are hoping, we are happy that are laid up for some time. No, we need to have like 1,000, to do 1,000. Then the fiscal side, I can tell fiscal side is exactly the people. You will recall that last time the movement to increase import hike import authority fee, the issue of the FOB, the issue of the custom tariff, the issue of the port heads and other things that are working there. We also see that the tax and other things. For me, I only want to urge them to work hand in hand. Let it not be the case of the KD and Minister of Finance when they are going opposite direction. It's going opposite direction. Then in Nigeria, we are focusing on the particular portfolio that is important as fiscal policy and monetary policy, which is trade policy. I think we need to do more in our trade policy to ensure that we can actually have a good trade policy. Because if you don't export, if you don't import rightly, you are going to have problems. So I think when we're talking about monetary fiscal, we should always be talking about trade policy as well.
All right, now we see that it's a good thing from the report that the GDP is growing. Now, despite this GDP growth, unemployment still remains a major concern for us now. How can this economic expansion translate into real job creations?
Right. Well, I have issue. If you look at the macroeconomy, we are using macroeconomy to judge the Nigeria economy. We are nowhere to be found. Our unemployment is on the high, even though the methodology is wrong. We promote the methodology of working 1 hour in a week in the place of working 20 hours in a week. I also look at our inflation on the high side. It's not actually working. So for me, macroeconomy is a serious issue. The issue of inflation in particular, I will tell you that I think we like to indulge or to work with the hawkish approach, which some of us don't agree with. You must reduce the level of inflation, but you must not sacrifice growth. You must find a way to work with growth by making sure that the NPR is actually reduced.
Now, inflation. How can Nigerian businesses, especially the small, medium enterprises, and these are the guys that actually make up a larger percentage of the business scene in Nigeria, how can they navigate inflation and currency fluctuations?
Right. When we talk about inflation, inflation has crippled a lot of businesses. Let me talk from my own experience. Inflation means my purchasing power has been reduced, and I can also now go back to borrow because the price of the interest rate is very, very high. So it's quite discouraging. So most businesses are packing their shops, they are closing shops because of that. And we also know that there's high energy cost down that logistics driver. So we must look at all these things to make sure that we position our business. And we also recall that over 70% of business in Nigeria are MSME. So look at the affect the reality of Nigerian economy. And that's why I said there are more deep and intentional approach to solve Nigerian economic problems.
Okay, now, what sectors would you say hold the most promise for investors and entrepreneurs in 2025?
Right. I think the major sector we focus on, to ask me, should be agriculture and industry. Because these two can drive the economy and it's a real economy indeed. Not unlike the service sector, there is portfolio investment. In the service sector, you cannot give investment. Service sector cannot give much more employment compared to agriculture and industry. So I think those two should be focused on agriculture and industry. Because President Bola has been able to get some sector facility, and we have not actually seen it. So they must work those things out through adequate supply chain programs.
All right, now, just before we go, we see that the government is hoping to get GDP or inflationary measures just to 6%. How do you think that can work? Well, how do you think we can achieve this 6% GDP growth target? What do you think it will take?
I think governments have a plan of the rebate, although they are talking about 6%. But I can tell you from current 24% to 15%, that is a whopping 9%. I am in doubt because we are in February. I'm in doubt if you can achieve that. I think it's an ambitious one, but I don't think it's realistic from what we achieve in the economy now.
You actually think it's ambitious, so you don't think we have what it takes to be able to get us to the 6%? It doesn't have to be in 2025. It could be maybe before this administration runs out.
Well, their own projection for this budget, 6%, so I'm still put on the projection for 2025, not this administration.
All right, now, just lastly, in 30 seconds, tell us, what do you think would be the economic priorities that you would recommend to the government if you were given the opportunity to do that?
Right. My major priority and what I would try, for example, is to look at our forex. Because you see that as the forex actually has a kind of low, you see that even price of commodities are getting lower. So we want government to do more in terms of forex, where we can have 700 naira to dollar. That will make a lot of meaningful development, bring a lot of meaningful development to the Nigerian economy.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Ilias, for joining us today on Business Daily to discuss the GDP growth. Thank you. It's been a pleasure having you.
Thank you for having me.
That's it for Business Daily today. We've been discussing the growth of the GDP to 3.84% in the Q4 of 2024. And hopefully, with the CBI rebasing and GDP rebasing, we're going to see more positive news about our GDP. That's it for Business Daily today on Trust TV. Same time, same place tomorrow. I am Chiamaka Nwafor. Don't forget to follow us on our social media platforms for more news, programs, and documentary. Bye for now.